Welcome back to Jersey Central on the new Talk Radio 1450 WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. Well, I hope your calendar is open for the time being, because I want to tell you about a terrific event that is happening on the evening of Thursday, November 30th. It'll be at the Bickford Theater in Morristown, where what a night it's going to be, where on stage for one night only, and in fact it's going to be his only New Jersey appearance for the entire year, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer is going to be there doing a set in a very exclusive, intimate environment. John Sebastian. Of course, you know the name and you know the music and you know the man too. And he's joining me right now on the Jersey Central Newsmaker Hotline. John, good morning. It is Bert Barron. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Bert. It's nice to talk to you.
Wow, great to speak with you. And it seems like, John, as time kind of goes on, you can go to a big rock concert and 65,000 of your friends, but there's a demand, it seems like, to see artists like yourself, established artists, in these more intimate sort of settings. And that's what I think we can expect in Morristown on November 30th.
This is... the Bickford Theater is an example of something that has been happening quite universally. I see it on the East Coast frequently, and the rest of the country is also following suit, taking what very often were vaudeville houses that became movie houses that then fall on hard times, and then somebody comes to town and says, I want my little theater that I used to go and see Laurel and Hardy in to be nice. And this has happened so often that it is almost my main source of playing opportunities. In this case, it's a wonderful thing to be able to see your entire audience and not feel like it's a big black void out there.
Exactly. And it's something that we're seeing with a lot of the theaters and venues, not only here in New Jersey, John, but really around the country, where there's a push and to bring arts and bring culture back to the downtowns. And this Bickford Theater in Morristown is another great example of sort of a rebirth, a renaissance, and bringing in great talent on a nightly basis. And to have you performing there on November 30th is going to be just spectacular. I can't wait.
Great. Well, I'm looking forward to it, too.
And again, you can join us. Get some tickets for the show. They are going fast, and this will sell out, no doubt about it. It's Thursday, November 30th, 7:30 p.m. with John Sebastian at Bickford Theater in Morristown. You could purchase tickets at morrismuseum.org, but I urge you, as soon as Thanksgiving holiday comes and goes, these tickets are going to sell very quickly, so you need to get yours as soon as possible. John, if you look back at your career, and it's been fantastic, was there a period of maybe 3, 4, 5 years where you felt were like maybe artistically the best of your career? You look back and you say, wow, I really did some great stuff in that window. Is there a period in your career that you're exceptionally fond of?
Well, certainly that spoonful period, I guess you'd call it 64 to 8, was a wonderful period. It's funny sometimes composing and creating don't just come from the artist. They also come from the approval coming back from the audience, whether it's on a radio or in a theater, that gives you a certain link to whatever's coming next. It encourages you. So that is one of the factors that you can't deny. Obviously, I was working my butt off following Woodstock for a few years. I couldn't get a gig inside. It was all festivals and people trying to monetize Woodstock, unfortunately. But that was also a really fertile time. How wonderful to have this funny accident in 1976 where they picked me to write a theme song for the Welcome Back, Kotter show, and then some of these things that have been happening in the 90s of being able to play with some of the great jug banders like Yank Rachel, who used to play with Sleepy John Estes and Jab Jones, and he was a real jug bander. I mean, and for me, that just was so exciting. I also have such wonderful memories of being able to play with Johnny Johnson, Chuck Berry's second in command on piano, was so remarkable. And Hubert Sumlin also was an opportunity I had before Hubert passed. I still have one whole little box of goodies that make the harmonica extra funky sounding.
Wow.
So I could play with Hubert and sound right.
That's terrific. John Sebastian is my guest here on Jersey Central. His only New Jersey appearance for the year is happening on Thursday, November 30th at the beautiful Bickford Theater in Morristown. Get tickets now at morrismuseum.org. And a night, intimate evening with a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and clearly one of the greatest songwriters of this or any generation. And it's going to be a wonderful evening to spend with John. You had mentioned about Woodstock, John, and I've talked to so many people who had performed during that period, some people that played there, some people like Buffalo Springfield who ended up doing a different gig that weekend and kind of wish they had been there. What led you to performing at Woodstock?
I'd have to say singularly Paul Rothchild, famous producer for Janis and The Doors, who was such a heavy hanging out buddy with me for those sort of pre-1969 years, that when he said, John, I think this Woodstock thing is going to be special. I think people aren't getting it how big it's going to be, and you probably ought to go check it out. And that was exactly what I did. I didn't come as an artist. I just came as an audience.
Wow. And could you imagine that? Did you have that feeling that, you know what, this is going to be talked about forever? Did you kind of have that feeling while you were there?
Yeah, sure. By the really just flying over it, coming in for a landing, it gave us that impression. But also being able to by the second day to get a sense of how things were working and how the hog farm had a Volkswagen bus full of rice coming up from Chinatown. Just all of these kind of things it was so great to hear.
I just love hearing story after story from that period, and to be a part of that has got to be real special for you. So so thank you for sharing that. And you'll be telling some stories also on stage on November 30th in Morristown at Bickford Theater. So if you want to hear a night of stories and, of course, great music with John Sebastian, get your tickets at morrismuseum.org. It'll be a terrific night. And John, much like your bio on your website says, it's about pleasing the old fans and making some new ones, and that's what you still do when you get on stage, right?
That's the aim, absolutely.
Terrific stuff. Wonderful to speak with you, and we can't wait to see you in Morristown on November 30th. And what an honor, John. I really appreciate the time today.
Well, thank you very much.